On this part, you'll learn how to create a custom structural directive. So for that, let us go to Visual Studio Code and see it in action. In here, the first thing that we need to do is that we need to create a new directive. So for that, I'll just go to the Explorer and then locate the directives folder. Right click in here and then open in integrated terminal. Here we are going to create our own version of the ngIf, which is another or a built-in structural directive of Angular. So we're going to create something similar. For that, I'll just type in here ng generate. We want to generate a directive. And then let us name our directive my if or my custom if. This is just a name. Then I'll press enter. So you can see that the directive was created. And if you go to the app.module.ts, that value has also been added to my directives section. So in here, you'll see that we have the header directive, we have the myIf directive, and they're all in the declarations array. So let us go now to the myIf directive.ts, because now in here we're going to write some code. In Angular, when creating a structural directive, you often need to manipulate the structure of the DOM based on a certain condition. And we have said that's why we call them structural directives. When you create your structural directive, you need to have parameters in the constructor for the template reference and for the view container. The template reference is a parameter that needs to be injected in the constructor. So for that, I'll just type in here private. The name is going to be template ref. The type is going to be template ref of any. And the template ref, so this parameter in here, is going to represent the template associated with the element on which the directive is applied. And this basically just provides access to the content within that. The other one is the view container. So the view container ref, for that I'll just type in here private and then view container. This is going to be of type view container ref. This parameter represents the container where the directives template will be rendered. The view container ref class, which belongs to the Angular core, is a class in Angular that represents the container where the views are attached and rendered. So this is all you need to do in the constructor level. The next step is to provide the implementation of a setter method for the app myIf of the myIf directive. For that in here, so just after the constructor, I'm going to type at input. The input also belongs to Angular core. And then I'll just type in here set. And then we are going to set the value, the implementation basically for the app myIf. In here, we're going to have a condition, which is going to be a Boolean, because even the ngIf does use a condition in there, so it checks if it's true or false. Our app myIf also is going to check if the value is true or false. And based on that, it's going to render the content. So now here, if the condition is true, by using the view container, we are going to create an embedded view of the template reference. So for that, I'll just type in here this.viewContainer dot create embedded view. And as a parameter, we're going to pass the template reference. Otherwise, so if the condition is false, then we're just going to clear the view container. So view container dot clear method. Now here you can see that on the input property we have an error, and that's right, because for the input you need to use the brackets. So let us now save the changes, and let us also save the changes in app module. Let us go to the home component.html. In here, I'll just clean up what we have. So I'll just remove this one. I'll remove all the other h2 tags. Also clean up the home component.ts. For example, I'll just change the integer value in here to Boolean value, or maybe just is active true. And then in the HTML, I'll remove the ng switch case. And now I'm going to use our custom structural directive, which is star and then app my if. The app my if is going to check for the isActive value. Let us update the text in here. The text will say that the data or the content is being rendered by app my if. Let us save the changes. I'll just remove spacing here, just do some formatting, save the changes. Let us go to the browser. And then here you can see that we have the text that says the content is being rendered by app my if. Let us go and change the value of isActive to false. So in here, I'll just change the isActive to false. I'll save the changes and go back to the app. And on here, you can see that because the condition is false, the h2 tag is not rendered.